Tonight, Port Lincoln Bowling Club targeted by thieves for the second night in a row, and Spencer Golf doctors plead for more money to fix the regional health crisis.
With the latest from around the region, your nightly news with Louise Hedger begins now.
Good evening. 4 young people have been arrested and 3 others remain on the run tonight following a string of break-ins in Port Lincoln. Authorities say the local bowling club and primary school were both targeted in the crime spree, but say the incidents are unrelated.
Under the cover of darkness, this vision shows 3 youths breaking into the Port Lincoln Bowling Club.
It's totally frustrating because we can't do anything about it.
Captured on security cameras, a lone thief scouts out the building, making sure the coast is clear before calling in his mates.
We've got a reasonable idea who they are or what they look like, but it's hard to tell.
The trio Jimmy opened the front window. 2 of them enter covering their faces with hoodies, while the third remains on the lookout outside.
They've got in through lifting the screens off and then lifting a window up and sliding the window open.
The sensor alarm was quickly activated, sending the thieves running empty-handed.
We believe it was one young guy and 2 young girls, probably teenagers or maybe a bit older.
One of the persons was seen wearing a camouflaged hooded jacket and the other one was wearing a light coloured hooded jacket.
The following night, the trio broke in again, but only made off with a pair of keys, later found dumped down the road.
They got these keys for the open side door and they tried to get in the bar with these keys.
Staff baffled to find a wheelbarrow full of products and several suitcases that were set to be auctioned off for the club's raffle were left untouched. The combined value worth more than $800.
Took nothing. Took absolutely nothing. He came in, the alarms went off and out they went.
While those thieves still remain on the run today, police have arrested and charged 4 other youths for criminal trespass at Port Lincoln Primary School. It's alleged the teenagers broke into a classroom and damaged several windows.
Those youths will get granted bail and they'll face the Port Lincoln Youth Court at a later date or be dealt with by the juvenile justice system.
Anyone with information is encouraged to contact police. Nathan REGTER, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Police in Port Prie are urging residents to remain vigilant with their vehicles following a recent spike in property theft in the area. Officers say this time of year is when opportunist thieves are more active.
A busy time of year with holiday makers flocking to the York Mid-North region, police are also kept busy reporting a spike in thefts.
Have recently observed an increase in opportunistic thefts within our area. These include thefts from motor vehicles that have been left unlocked and items of property that have been left laying around on people's yards.
Now reminding all of the importance of locking up their vehicles.
We ask residents to lock their cars at all times, whether they be down the street doing a spot of shopping or at home overnight.
Also calling on the public to help locate stolen goods such as this electric bike taken between the 30th and 31st of December.
Being stolen from an address in Solomon Town. That bike has not yet been located. It's quite a unique bike, being an electric bike.
RAA insurance managers also concerned, reporting a 15% spike in house thefts over the summer holiday period. They say it's important to take the steps to make sure your property looks occupied while away.
Not putting it on social media that they're actually, off to Queensland for the week, and having someone take care of your mail or any parcel delivery.
Police are urging residents to remain vigilant and report any suspicious activity, no matter how big or small it may seem.
Take the opportunity to secure your property. Help police by helping yourself.
Anyone with information is asked to contact Crime Stoppers. Shari Hams, 7 Spencer Golf News.
A Whyalla man has lost his licence for 12 months after allegedly registering a blood alcohol reading 4 times more than the legal limit. The 42-year-old man was driving a Nissan 4-wheel drive yesterday when he was stopped on Brook Street for a random breath test, blowing a reading of 0.2. His car was impounded at the scene and he'll face the Whyalla Magistrates Court at a later date. Regional doctors have welcomed the government's new medical workforce plan, but say the strategies outlined don't go far enough to help fix the healthcare system. They warn the benefits of the project wouldn't be felt for at least another 5 years as the strategies are set up.
It's been spooked as a plan to fix South Australia's ailing regional healthcare system. Several strategies set to be rolled out over 5 years, which has left some regional doctors seeing red.
We're at a critical stage now and we need help in the immediate future. 5 years is too long to wait.
The 44-page document outlines key projects to be set up in a bid to attract and retain doctors to regional communities. Good news for some remote towns living on tenterhooks with no doctor.
It's not going to solve the problem immediately, obviously, but part of the strategy will be to develop a workforce plan to identify medical students who are at least interested in a career in the country.
But some doctors have slammed the plan, arguing more needs to be done to help address issues they say are putting lives at risk.
Rural health needs funding support immediately. We know what needs to be done. It's been done in the eastern states in Western Australia, so there's no mystery about what needs to be done.
The government has committed $20 million to develop the plan, but hasn't made mention yet of long-term funding.
None of that's for long-term. That's not long-term funding, and that's what we need to see is long-term funding for workforce support and training. It's hoped the plan will expand intern and postgraduate training in rural hospitals within the first year.
What we need to do now is encourage our medical students into general practice rather than all going into specialist practice. Unfortunately, in the last intake for rural GP trainee positions, only half of those positions were filled for South Australia.
But the government remain optimistic that the plan will help bridge the gap in healthcare for regional communities.
If we're able to develop a plan that assists in solving the shortage of doctors in country areas, it'll go a long way to solving the other issues as well.
Nathan Rector, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Still to come tonight, construction set to begin on a new hybrid renewable energy project in Port Augusta. And a Whyalla woman collects thousands of donations to support wildlife injured by bushfires. Welcome back. Construction on the latest renewable energy project in Port Augusta will begin mid-year. Proponents of the project say roughly 200 construction jobs will be created over the 18-month building period.
Port Augusta expanding as a renewable energy hub, a large hybrid project set to be built this year. With $500 million worth of funding from energy giant Iberdrola, project developers DP Energy are excited to see the project come to fruition.
So it's wind and solar PV, and it will be the largest hybrid project in the Southern Hemisphere, certainly in Australia.
A large process to get something such as this off the ground.
You have to design a project, you have to come up with land agreements, you have to consult with the community, you have to get government approval.
Iberdrola says it will focus on recruiting locally, with 15 to 25 ongoing jobs tipped to be created after the project is established. 200 jobs also on the cards for the construction period.
Iberdrola has a philosophy of recruiting locally because they find that is very good for staff retention.
Renewables making their way in the world, particularly here in South Australia.
There's no doubt we are in a transition. Gas-generated electricity will be with us for a very, very long time, but we are transitioning towards more and more renewables.
They're much cheaper to build than gas, they're cheaper to build than coal, they're cheaper to build than other forms of energy.
Laura MILOVANOVIC, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
A Whyalla resident has rallied the community, gathering thousands of medical supplies for bushfire-affected wildlife. The animal lover is doing her part in helping rescue as many Australian species as possible.
An abundance of donations fills the backyard of this local resident's house, all crucial supplies for wildlife affected by Australia's bushfires.
It is very upsetting, and we need to focus on getting those animals better, the ones that have survived and the ones that need our help.
For CHERILEE BAGSHAW, helping the affected animals is her main priority.
I'm more about animals, I'm a big lover of animals, like most of my friends and that will know, and I felt a bit helpless not being able to do anything.
Simply asking Facebook friends to help donate a few items, CHERILEE was shocked by the overwhelming response.
It's been amazing, the amount of people that have just offered to come and drop things, and also for those people that have actually taken stuff to Adelaide as well.
Water, towels, blankets, wildlife food and medical supplies are just some of the items donated, a true demonstration of Whyalla's community spirit.
Pretty overwhelming. When I first put it out, didn't expect to get so much, but it's great that we have. 5
carloads have been transported to Adelaide, making their way to multiple foundations, with the rest of the supplies soon to follow.
Heading off to the Sabre, which is South Australian Bushfire Emergency Relief. We're also sending some of them to the Adelaide Koala and Wildlife Hospital in Adelaide.
The Whyalla Vet Clinic also taking all the cash donations.
They're going to put that towards medical supplies to send over to Kangaroo Island.
With Wildlife Foundations flooded with contributions, CHERILEE asks for locals to hold off on donating right now. But there is another way you can do your part. Arid Recovery, a wildlife reserve in SA, is encouraging locals to make their own water feeder, a pipe made from cheap materials to leave in the backyard for thirsty animals.
We're very much in the depths of drought here, and it's having an impact on our wildlife, even though they're really well adapted to living in the desert. It's just that dry that they're struggling.
A simple guide on how to make one is listed on their website. SOPHIA KONTOGONIS, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
More than a dozen children have had some school holiday fun today, learning about birds and their nests. The young ones getting their hands dirty while learning facts about the native creatures and their habitats.
From different species to nesting habits. This group of young children today learning all about the way in which birds live.
That birds are clever to make nests by mud and finding other things to put in it. We learned about making birds' nests and lots of birds.
Playing with mud, receiving guidance from this bird enthusiast on how to create a nest.
Just to show the kids how much work goes into a bird nest, because the birds can only pick up a beakful of mud at a time.
Children showing the different nests around the Arid Lands Gardens, pointing out their favourite birds.
A magpie, peacock, rainbow.
With so many birds, it seemed fitting to learn about their homes, all the different shapes, sizes and foundations.
There's such a wide variety of nests, that birds build. So, yeah, there's no end of material you can use.
In what was the first class hosted by the Gardens, organisers are hopeful it will spark an interest in the outdoors.
It'd be good, just mainly to get them interested, because this garden, the Arid Lands Garden, it's a bit of an oasis for birds, so you can always come here and see something.
Laura MILOVANOVIC, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us after the break. Whyalla MFS welcomes a new recruit and puts a call out to new members. And we take a look at the progress of the Dube Oval upgrade. Hello again. A new MFS recruit has been welcomed after joining Whyalla's regional operations team. MFS is actively searching for locals across the Spencer Gulf to sign up, especially during the busy fire season.
An initiation to welcome a much-needed MFS recruit during one of Australia's most catastrophic fire seasons.
Yeah, super excited to be part of the MFS in Whyalla. It's a great opportunity, and it's been a long time coming.
Always great to welcome a new recruit to the MFS regional operations in Whyalla, particularly at this busy time of the year.
3-hour training sessions are held for new team members each week, where the team work together to practice crucial workforce skills. The MFS is calling for a diverse range of members to join the team, with hopes even more women will sign up.
Historically, people think that firefighting is for males, but it's great that we are now getting a more diverse workforce within regional operations.
For SHAUN, it was all about giving back to the community, which has supported he and his family for many years.
I wanted to really just do something that was of value, and I thought a firefighter would be a great way to do that. As I've matured and grown up and I've got little kids now of my own, I want to be sort of a bit of a role model to those guys as well.
If you're wanting to join the heroic members that make up the MFS regional team, information on recruitment is located on their website, or you can contact your local fire station to find out more.
It's fantastic that we have new members wishing to help their community.
SOPHIA KONTOGONIS, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
A Whyalla resident says they've lost $15,000 worth of jewellery pieces around the Whyalla and Fitzgerald Bay region. Police say the sentimental jewellery is quite distinctive and includes 4 gold rings, a gold bracelet and necklace with a gold nugget attached.
At this stage, police are keeping an open mind. It's possible the items were stolen, but they also could have been simply lost. So we ask any members of the public in that area to keep an eye out, and if they see them, to please call us.
Police ask anyone who may come across the items to please return them to your nearest police station. With just a few months until the Broken Hill football season kicks off, the race is on to complete the major upgrade of Jubilee Oval. Patrick Reinke caught up with the league chairman and the project manager to see how the project is going.
Broken Hill footy players and spectators will be in for a shock when they see everything that's been happening here at the Jube. The $3 million project is taking shape.
We're on target. We'd like to have this project completed by the end of February, mid-March.
League Chairman Andrew Schmidt says there's plenty happening on site and it's easy to see. The new umpires room and one of the new change rooms have been erected, both to AFL standard. Underneath the grandstand, the change rooms have been gutted, ready for a revamp. Spectators also set to benefit. So Hoff, you're now sitting underneath the new sort of covers over the bleachers on both sides. How is this going to sort of improve the viewing experience for the fans who come through the gates?
One of the things we did when we sat down with the architect prior to even putting pen to paper was to work out what will give people a better viewing experience. When this is complete, people sitting in these areas are going to have a first-class viewing. They'll have the equal of any country ground in the state.
The old light towers will be removed in the coming days, the project's architects saying the new ones will be powerful.
At the moment, the output of the Oval is about 50 lux, but we're using twice as much power. When we use LED lighting, it's obviously going to be green, it's going to be more efficient.
A classic country cricket design coming together as well. So Andrew, we're walking alongside the new white picket fence. Looks really great. How's the reception sort of been so far?
We've had so many people stopping and looking through the gates of what's happening in here, and $3 million worth of work going on, but the thing they're commenting on most is this white picket fence. I think it's really going to enhance what we have here, and I think so far, the feedback we're getting, Patrick, it's the highlight.
Work is underway on the second story of the ground manager's office, new perimeter fencing, a playground area and upgraded amenities in the pipeline. Round 1 of local footy starts in April, and there's no doubt the countdown is on. Patrick Reinke, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us. Coming up after the break, Patrick Reinke will also have this week's Fuel Watch, and we'll have the weather with Brit. Welcome back. Time now to take a look at how things are shaping up when we head to the Bowser. Here's Patrick again in Broken Hill with this week's Fuel Watch.
It's been over a month since we last checked in with the regional fuel averages. Some townships have seen big changes, others have kept quiet. Starting with unleaded, and Port Lincoln has barely moved in the past 30-odd days. The price still $1.52. Whyalla has seen the biggest jump of everywhere, up by 4 cents to $1.53. Port Augusta is 2 cents dearer and the most expensive. Port Prie and Kadina have both enjoyed quiet holiday periods, the averages still hovering around $1.46. Here in Broken Hill, things are steady, were the same as Port Lincoln. Adelaide is around $1.43, but expect that to fall a little more. Turning over to diesel now, and Whyalla is the only town to see a drop down to $1.51. The same for Port Augusta and Kadina, which both saw increases. Port Lincoln has seen some red, Port Pire holding at $1.49. Broken Hill is the most expensive on the board with an average of $1.57. Adelaide 12 cents cheaper than that. Finishing off with a look at autogas, and there's been a lot of movement. Port Augusta has skyrocketed by 10 cents, the price now 99. Port Pirie is up by 4 cents, now at 92. Whyalla a cent more, Kadina a cent less. Broken Hill also seeing a big jump to 96 cents a litre. It used to be 88. Adelaide rounds out the board with a spike in its price, but it's still cheapest of everywhere. Now remember that these prices are the regional averages and they do not reflect any one particular outlet. And if you do find a spot that does sell unleaded, auto gas or diesel for cheaper, be sure to let us know on our Facebook page.
Now for a look at the week's weather, here's Britt Aylen.
Thanks, Lou, and good evening. We saw windy conditions about much of the region today. Broken Hill still hot, recording a maximum of 37 degrees. A little milder elsewhere, Port Augusta 31, Port Pirie 30, Whyalla 28, Port Lincoln 21. Here's a look at the satellite images from today with a ridge of high pressure persisting to the south of South Australia. To tomorrow now on the Gulf waters, southeasterly winds tending southwesterly with seas around 2.5 metres. And it's looking to be a mostly fine day. Broken Hill sunny with a top of 30 degrees. Port Pirie also a top of 30, looking partly cloudy. Woodner 29, Port Augusta and Corn both 28. Kadina fine and 27. 26 the top at Whyalla with wind gusts of up to 40 kilometres an hour. Clare also 26, Cleve 22, Coffin Bay 21. A slight chance of a shower at Port Lincoln, looking at a top of 19 degrees. Taking a quick look ahead to the end of the week now, Port Lincoln remaining fine with a possible shower on Sunday. Cleve and Woodner both with partly cloudy days ahead and fairly consistent maximum temperatures. Whyalla looking fine Friday and Saturday with strong winds again on Sunday. A sunny day forecast for Port Augusta on Friday, partly cloudy across the weekend. Kadina looking fine with maximums in the mid to late 20s. Port Pirie and Clare both sunny on Friday ahead of a fine weekend, and Broken Hill looking sunny Friday and Saturday, partly cloudy on Sunday. And Louise, that's it from me.
Lovely, thank you for that, Britt. That's your local news this Wednesday evening. Thank you for joining us today. Our team will be back tomorrow. Good night.